I'm Scoot, and it is so great to be back with you. This is the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel, also scootontheair.com. And this is the Daily Hit, and it's back. For those of you who saw the last Daily Hit that I did, well, I looked a little different than I do now. I was crossing Canal Street at Bourbon, downtown New Orleans, and a speeding motorcycle hit me. And I have a double break on my ankle. Knee was injured, face was injured, but my face, as you can tell, is really healing up. And I am so lucky that, as bad as this is, as much as all this sucks, it could have been so much worse. So I really feel blessed, and I'm back with you, and it's great to be back here. So every day between 9 and 10 New Orleans time, we'll have something new for the Daily Hit. There's a lot to catch up on. It seems to be somewhat of a Republican revolt against President Trump. The House yesterday, by a vote of 420 to nothing, the House, led by Democrats, by the way, the House voted 420 to nothing to make Mueller's FBI probe, to make that available to the public. The president saw this as a big defeat. Now, the Senate can try and stop it, but still, this was quite a vote. And I think what's happening here is that Republicans are starting to realize that, there are people who are not, there are Republicans, there are conservatives who are not totally enamored with what President Trump is doing. And if they just go along with everything, if they ignore what a lot of voters want, then they're not going to be reelected. Going along with the president, I don't think any longer means a guarantee that you're reelected. Also, 12 Republican senators in the Senate yesterday voted to block President Trump declaring a national emergency in order to get funds to build his wall, based on the idea that there is a national crisis at the border. He would declare a national emergency, use the funds to build the wall. 12 Republicans broke from President Trump and Republicans and voted to block the president's ability to do that. Now, the vote was, I think, 59 to 41, so it's almost veto-proof, but not quite. And so the president has vowed to veto this, but this was still a very significant vote. And I think this is really, I think this is very significant, because it shows that there's great erosion now on Capitol Hill when it comes to Republicans following the Pied Piper known as President Trump. And following the president, his base continues to be this very small group of people, not enough to reelect him in 2020. So we'll see what happens, but there's definitely Republican revolt on these couple of issues on Capitol Hill. Also, I saw the play Hamilton. Wow, what a powerful, powerful play. So many things to talk about. It's here in New Orleans right now, and I saw it the other night. And this is a Tony Award-winning play. It is a controversial play, Pulitzer Prize-winning play. But again, it's very controversial. And one of the reasons that it's controversial is because Black actors play the parts of white Americans, like some of our founding fathers are played by Blacks. Aaron Burr, a key figure in the life of Alexander Hamilton, was played by a Black actor. Alexander Hamilton married a Black woman. Well, he didn't really marry a Black woman, but in the play, he married a Black woman. What does this tell us? It really tells us that race doesn't matter. That was the statement, in my opinion, that was the statement of Hamilton. We're going to show that race doesn't matter by allowing Blacks to play the part of whites. And here well, not only in New Orleans, but also really around the country, there's been a big controversy over blackface. How ironic is it that Hamilton has Black actors playing white characters, when in the early days of theater in America, during segregation, Blacks could not even play Black characters. And Blacks were portrayed by white characters wearing blackface. So Hamilton was just so revolutionary. Also, the use of rap style music. It wasn't all rap style music, but a lot of it was. I even saw a little breakdancing in there. The use of contemporary music to tell a story of our founding fathers, I thought was very profound. And it works. You know, you want to tell the story of our founding fathers? You use the music of the past that nobody can relate to? That's not going to work. Use the music of today. Use rock music, use rap music. Use music that is current to today. Use that to convey your message, and you'll do a better job. I would suggest that, though, before you go to Hamilton, just read up a little bit on Alexander Hamilton and the role that he played in the beginning of our country. And in some ways, he was kind of dismissed. You know, he wasn't up there with Jefferson. He wasn't up there with Washington, but he was really a key figure in the founding of America. So, I mean, I loved it, and I loved the message that, you know, race doesn't matter. We can see black actors playing white characters in a very historic play, and it worked. Let's talk just a little bit about rich privilege, not just white privilege, but white rich privilege. And I guess this really does transcend race in a lot of ways, but actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, who was Aunt Betsy on Full House and now Fuller House, these two actresses were arrested and went to jail. They bonded out. They were part of this whole scheme, Operation Varsity Blues. And the FBI was investigating something, and then they discovered this whole other area that needed to be investigated. And that was wealthy parents bribing people to get their kids in prestigious colleges. And so for every child, for every student that got in because that student had rich parents, a hardworking, deserving student with less money did not get in the college. This is not the only aspect in our society where there's rich privilege. There's rich privilege everywhere. But this is just a reminder that there are people who feel like they're entitled to something. You know, often you hear about, well, those people on welfare, you know, they feel like they're entitled to that. There are people in America who feel like they're born in America. They are entitled to the government taking care of them. That is entitlement mentality. But that entitlement mentality is not reserved for one lower socioeconomic group. That entitlement mentality also is part of the rich and the wealthy. They also feel like they're entitled to things because they have money. Not all of the rich are this way. There are a lot of rich people that do the right thing with their money. And there's nothing wrong with being really rich and really wealthy. But there are people who become rich and wealthy and they flaunt it. They flaunt their wealth. They think they're above the law. They think they're above the rules because they're rich. That's not fair. And so this is a huge, I think 50 people were arrested. I believe 33 parents were arrested in Operation Varsity Blues from the FBI. 33 rich parents were arrested. You think Felicity Huffman, you think Lori Loughlin, these actresses, you think they ever thought they would go to jail? They went to jail, and some of these two actresses and some of these really, really wealthy people, they may face prison time because they cheated. They stole opportunities. They bought opportunities. It just goes to show that many people who are very wealthy feel like they are entitled to things, and so they suffer from the same entitlement mentality that many others do in this country. I'm Scoot. Great to be back with you. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. And this is the ScootOnTheAir.com website. And also, this is Scoot on the Air on YouTube.